He's the tallest man on the radio, so sit right back and enjoy the show. Flying through the air like a ballistic missile. Here's your host, Ben Kissel.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How you doing? Welcome to the Ben Kissel channel. Thank you so much for joining the show. I want to tell you about my Patreon. Go to Patreon and check out Ben Kissel channel. It's $7 a month, and you get 8 episodes every single month. There I'll be talking about politics and other social things that I don't want to talk about here on YouTube because this show is just going to be 100% fun. Also, check out my Shopify page where you can get some new cool merch. All right, I want to introduce you guys to my sidekick for the month of June. He's a great friend of mine. I know you're going to love him. Sheikh Nar Latang is with me. Sheikh Nar, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Ben. I'm glad to be here getting into this with you.
We got a bunch of fun stories to cover today. The first one, God must have needed a butcher. Robert Pickton, the man who fed many a gal to his pigs in Vancouver, Canada, has died. He was 81 years old. He was killed in prison. This dude was the sausage king of America for all the wrong reasons. I cannot imagine a worst case scenario than having to have this man, who literally looks like the embodiment of a serial killer, be the last image you see before you're ground up and turned into a Vienna sausage. Sheikh, what kind of food would you want to be if you had to be? Let's say I just murder you, right?
Yeah.
And then, then I'm going to make a beef patty out of you, a kebab. What do you want?
Well, I mean, just from what you just said, it's definitely not going to be a pig. I'm not thinking pig right now.
Yeah.
A nice bison?
Oh, yeah, I could see that, mixing with some bison. So this dude, he was convicted in 2007 on 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole, but for 25 years. Uh-huh. So they figured, yes, after 25 years, maybe we'll consider letting him out. Perhaps he's converted to veganism, or he no longer wants to kill women and throw them into a vat of pig mixture.
What process do you go through when you determine if this person will be okay in society after 25 years?
Dude, they're Canadian. I have no idea. I can't understand Canadian justice one bit. Apparently, this guy, he was on the streets for a long time. The cops did not give a crap. There's been a bunch of podcasts about him. There's been documentaries about him. The cops did not care whatsoever because he was killing sex workers, which are known as the less dead. No one seems to care about him, specifically in Vancouver, Canada, a place that has, makes San Francisco look like it is like Dubai.
Yeah.
It makes it look like it's perfectly clean and wonderful. Mm-hmm. For those that don't know, if you go to East Hastings Street in Vancouver, you're going to see people doing so much heroin, you're going to feel like they must be good at music, but in reality, they're screaming, not singing. Have you been there at all?
I have not been to the west coast of Canada. I've been to the east coast quite a few times, actually.
It is insane. We were walking down there. I was doing a show way back in the day at a thing called the Rickshaw. Mm-hmm. And this is where Nirvana started. It was a kick-ass venue, but it's on East Hastings Street. And I saw this person digging in the ground like they were trying to find hell, but I think they were currently living in it. And their nails were breaking and everything. And people just walked by like, typical. Take a left. Oh, you want directions? Take a left by the person who's digging their nails into the ground until they violently bleed, and then you're going to find yourself a Starbucks.
As I was reading this, actually, I noticed that, obviously, that he's from Canada. But for a country that is so nice, so clean, every now and again, they produce some of the most dangerous people that you never would expect.
It's because they're not nice. They're repressed. Canadians, I've said this before, everyone who knows me, they know I say we need a wall on the northern border. These Canadians have been coming down, taking our comedians' jobs for way too long. I'm looking at you, Mike Myers, John Candy. Wall on the northern border. So Robert Pickton dead at 74. Apparently he was speared in the head with a broken broom handle. And this dude who did it, he's a 51-year-old. He's now in custody. I guess in custody? So double custody? This guy got double custody.
Getting trialed again.
His name is Hugues Ballou, which sounds like a man who got arrested for eating too much chocolate. And that's the police spokesman is Hugues Ballou. So he's working really, really hard on finding the gummy worm killer. So the 51-year-old inmate, he is being, I suppose, charged now with the death of Robert Pickton. But should they be? It's the same thing with like Jeffrey Dahmer's killer. Jeffrey Dahmer's killer, way back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, he used a barbell. It was holding a door open, whacked him in the head, and then he got in trouble. But I feel like these are serial killers. They're in prison.
I mean, the government, has this, save face. The penal system of Canada, I guess, same thing with the U.S. You can't go around killing people even though they're careless.
Right, I guess.
My thing is, like, what is the confrontation? Because Robert's been in jail, since 2007?
Yep.
All right, so now this is happening. So what kind of confrontation could you have had with that inmate after because if they were going to kill him just for what he did, he would have been dead already.
Yeah, you know what I bet you was over? Ramen. I think a lot of people die over ramen in prison. Have you seen those prison? I talked to my boy Larry Lawton, by the way. You can find me on Larry Lawton's show this week. Ramen is in every dish. And I think if you fuck with someone's ramen in prison, you could do anything to this person under the sun or beneath the sun, if you know what I mean. But you mess with their ramen, you're going to get shanked. I don't know if this is going to hold true.
High-priced commodity.
But that's what I feel. In a more serious note and an actual note of purpose here, Cynthia Cardinal, she is the relative of one of the victims. She says this is going to bring healing for, I won't say all families, but she says for most of the families. Yeah. But does it matter? Because the dude got to live into his early 70s. He already got fame out of this. Yeah. If your sibling, your mother, whatever, brother, father, are murdered by somebody, when they die in prison like this, does it really bring closure? I just don't know. I mean, I don't know how I would feel. I'd be like...
I've never been in that position, but I was thinking just the same thing when I was reading it. Or is it one of those things, an eye for an eye just will bring you closure, you think will bring you closure, but in reality, you're still going to miss that person.
Well, because now he's
still angry.
He's in the dream realm as well. Now he's become a ghost.
Yeah.
This is the only way he was going to get out of those prison walls. And next thing you know, you're like, it smells like sausages. Pickton's around, baby. Pickton's around. She goes on to say, I'm like, wow, finally, I can actually move on and heal, and I can put this behind me. And I'm not going to say how someone should react because we just had the death of O.J. Simpson, and Nicole Brown's family has come out, and they're like, it is closure to some degree. Obviously, it's the final chapter that all of us will face. I just feel so bad for this woman who has been dealing with this for so long. And then this is the thing where she says, thank God. It's also strange where you hear someone died because they got a broomstick shoved between their temple. And the reaction is like, oh, I can finally move on. That seems like you're a bad person. Oh, wait, it's because that person fed your sister to a bunch of pigs. Oh,
it's not easy to digest, no matter how you put it.
And apparently they're not naming the inmate, although I'm sure he's getting quite a bit of applause around the prison yard.
Well, the community in the prison definitely knows who did it.
Yep. So this is what they say when it comes to the investigation. The investigation, it's Canadian. So, the investigation will examine all of the facts and circumstances surrounding the assault, including whether police and protocols were followed.
You spent a lot of time in Canada, didn't you?
Dude, come on. Don't even get me going. Not everyone should... Poutine is not that good.
No, it's not.
This is why this man had to murder a bunch of people and put them into the sausages. Because the food is flavorless. And the only way he thought they could get some heat is by butchering up a sex worker and throwing her in a vat of pig stuff. So that's my problem with Canada. But anyway, the poutine, that's the problem.
Did you see the documentary?
On Canada?
No.
Canadian Bacon?
Robin.
Starring John Candy?
On the serial killer.
I did a whole show on this guy. This is what they go on to say. This is the cops in the little prison there. They say, we are mindful that this offender's case has had a devastating impact on communities in British Columbia and across the country. This is interesting because in reality, they let Pickton get away with this for years. He would have parties at a piggy palace. This dude knew the cops. They did not give a shit. Yeah. So the fact that they're like, oh, yes, finally, this is going to help us move on. He could have been stopped immediately. But Canadian police, I'm just going to say, slightly lazy, which is why they want to get the guns out of the community, as opposed to America, where we have the guns, but they also are allowed to bulldoze your house while you're inside sleeping with your family.
Yeah.
So they say, the communities in British Columbia and across the country, including Indigenous people, victims and their families, our thoughts are with them. So there you go, Robert Pickton. The story has officially concluded with his death in prison.
The last judgment.
The final judgment. All right, let's move on. I'm trying to lose weight. You know I'm trying to lose weight, right?
I know.
I've been eating chicken, right? And I did see one. I mean, people are watching, be like, "Well, you're not doing a good job." Thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. Leave it in the comment section below. Leave it in the comment section below. What do you think I look like? Leave it in the comment section below. Ozempic is all over the place. Celebrities love this damn thing. Did you see what? Well, let's talk about the Kardashians. That's a little new for me.
Okay.
Because I haven't talked about. I've been doing radio for almost 20 years, 15 years, which is almost 20 years. I mean, not if you're in prison. That's quite a bit of time, but
We'll round it up.
yeah, whatever. Who cares? But a lot of people are doing Ozempic and they're getting Ozempic face. Khloe Kardashian, she got Ozempic pussy. This is one of the strangest stories I've ever seen in my life. And the question is, why did she talk about it? I have no idea. I don't know why the Kardashians do anything that they do, but this is something that she felt the world needed to know.
Yeah.
And here, Shake and I, we feel like you also need to know. So
Unpack this. Try to, at least. Try to.
We're moving on to a far more serious subject than murder. Khloe Kardashian, so she's losing weight. She's always been up and down. Yeah. And the weird thing is they call her the ugly Kardashian, Eminem specifically. That is rude, number one.
She's known as the ugly Kardashian?
But she's not ugly at all. I'm just going to say that. I don't care if you like them or not. She's not ugly at all. And when you actually I saw them in real life. I was forced to be a little bit further away. By law, but they were sitting on courtside of the Lakers game I went to go see a couple years back, Lakers-Warriors game 5. And she is very petite. Yeah. But next to Kim, she looks huge because Kim is the size of a peanut.
Okay.
Super tiny, right?
Right.
Like all celebrities.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So she is the smallest gal in Wisconsin. That's Khloe Kardashian. And by Hollywood standards, they're like, look at Gorgor over there. When are you going to fight Ryu in Mortal Kombat? I understand that Street Fighter, and I also understand Gorgo isn't a real fighter. So Khloe Kardashian, because, again, societal standards are poisoning us, murdering us on a regular basis, also that we can look slightly thinner, she says she started to take Ozempic. She wanted to drop some pounds in those hard-to-reach areas. Now, what do you think? What's a hard-to-reach area? The perineum, the taint, underneath the foot. You want to lose weight there, unless you want to gain weight there and get a little taller. So the reality star opened up and said, since she's lost weight, she's lost her close friend, Camille. Now,
Who's Camille?
Camille, so you might think, oh, is this someone who was part of Obesity Plus? Let's have a good time as Big Gals Club. And, oh, Khloe, you've lost too much weight. I'm Camille. I'm out of here, you poser.
A trusted friend.
A trusted friend. No, Camille is the name of her camel toe. And that's the name that she gave her camel toe, which is, I didn't know you named the camel toe there, but she did. And that's good for her. And so she said, once I started using Ozempic, Camille just went away. It kind of reminds me of like Ren and Ren and Stimpy, when Stimpy lost his fart. And he looked everywhere to find his fart, and he just couldn't find it anywhere.
A vital part of you is missing.
Exactly. And in Khloe's case, I don't know. I know more about this woman's vagina than I have known about any woman's vagina in the history of the world, and I've never even met her. So she says they talk about micro penises, but now she has a micro pussy. And I don't know if she's happy about it. She says, I think a micro pussy would be fascinating. Fascinating.
So she is happy about it.
We're about to go into World War III, but this is fascinating. Okay. She says, doesn't everyone want a smaller pussy? Which I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Leave a comment.
What is a smaller pussy, though?
Well, You got to do the crayon test. I don't know. I have no idea. I have never. See, the thing is, man, I did not get a tattoo of a ruler on my tongue. I have no idea how big pussies are, how small they're supposed to be. I just kind of know you're there when you're there and you're aroused. And then when you're no longer aroused, you look at it and you say, God dang, put some salt on that slug. Let's get rid of whatever that is. So she says, doesn't everyone want a smaller pussy? And then she said, I tend to have a larger pussy. Just kind of every now and again. She says, like when I'm fat, which again, she's saying this. Even when she was Bone Zone and Lamar, I don't recall her being particularly fat. She's not Mama June from Honey Boo Boo. But she says when she's fat, it gets fatter, which I understand because currently, what do we name it?
Gus.
Gus the Guzzler. This guy, this is what I'm trying to lose here, is my little Gus. For those listening on a podcast, I'm grabbing my under chin, my double chin, my good friend Gus, who is currently hanging out with me until I tell him, buddy, the rent is due and you don't got the cash. She says, because when I was fat, I had Camille. And now that I've been skinnier, Camille has disappeared. To the point where you have to wonder, does Camille have teeth? Is Camille a full person to her? I think this is a sign of true mental illness.
Camille's definitely dear.
But I do know a lot of people, they'll name their tits, like I call mine Huey and Dewey, and then I call my ballsack Louie, because those are the names of DuckTales. Did you ever name a body part?
Yeah, in college it was John. My dick was John.
Dick was John.
I don't know when he stopped being John,
right,
or why it started, but yeah, it was John. It just seemed fitting.
Yeah, overall.
And women would
confident.
ask me about it. I would just say, yeah, his name is
right.
John.
You're like, take out a condom, and you're like, all I got is this little cowboy hat for my dick named John.
The things you do in your early 20s.
Yep. Well, that's good. You stroke John a lot?
We didn't have a choice. This is what we're supposed to do, right?
So
best friends from day one.
Hey, you better be. My guy, if I had to name my penis, I would go with maybe a humble Hubert.
Humble Hubert.
A humble Hubert. So basically, she is in mourning. No word if they buried Camille in a small, stinky box.
How does that make you feel about Ozempic?
Ozempic seems to me, as someone who doesn't do it, but someone who's like, I think he's on Ozempic, which obviously, now that they're seeing the full shot of me on YouTube, again, check out the YouTube page if you're listening to a podcast. I don't think they think I'm on it, which is good. It seems like it's going to kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
The side effects are already there. As a matter of fact, there's already a class action lawsuit pending against Ozempic, and that shit came out like 6 months ago. Usually it takes like years, decades.
Fast then.
Yes, to be like, did your kid overdose from OxyContin from 1993 to 2010? You can finally sue the Sackler family. But it's immediately happening because a bunch of people were like, I'm skinny, but my fucking pussy friend is gone.
Yeah.
And bring that case to court. Judge.
It's not that far-fetched these days.
And if I was the judge, I'd say, well, let me see it. What the hell is going on with
I think it's happening too fast, though, because they need time to develop enough crap for the documentary to come out so I can see what really went into it. Or kind of. I've been enjoying documentaries lately.
Yeah, what you been watching?
What did I watch last? Let's come back to that one.
Okay, yeah. There we go. So anyway, just be careful with Ozempic. And also, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this right now. Yeah. You're beautiful. You're beautiful, Shake. I'm working on it, but I am beautiful.
You're a beautiful man.
Doesn't matter. And a little pudge is fine. You're fine. Don't kill yourself with this damn Ozempic stuff because there's just no fucking need. Who are you trying to impress?
People are chasing perfection. People are chasing perfection, and that just doesn't exist. Why are you trying to be perfect?
You know how many people love a large, I'm going to say man and woman? There's someone for everyone, so don't worry about it. All right, well, let's move on from the human anatomy to a slightly different story about a sex doll's anatomy.
Ooh, all right.
What do you think about sex dolls?
I don't think
Would you ever do it?
I wouldn't say never.
You would have sex with a sex doll.
I couldn't tell what would happen in the future. I don't think I'm there yet.
Well, maybe you could get the Camille to snap on and off. Can you blow him up or not blow him up?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
God, I mean, I've seen TV, not commercials, but TV shows in which, they're making fun of the whole process, and then somebody just goes and blows up a whole doll.
Right, but that's your blow-up doll. We're talking sex dolls. Have you
What's
seen
the difference?
Oh my God, dude. These sex dolls are insane. They are manufactured to look super real. They weigh like 80 pounds. They're extremely realistic. And now with AI, you can have yourself a fully functioning, basically slave girlfriend, or I suppose boyfriend as well. I've seen some gals get reamed out by these machines, who, by the way, you're a traitor to the human race. These fucking machines.
Well, speaking about using it, I mean, would 30 years ago we would think that we'd be holding up an iPhone and using as much as we are?
Well, no, but, and I guess if they do scrape if you do an iPhone test, there's a lot of semen on the iPhone. So I guess what's the difference?
It's not that
if you
crazy.
just attach a little Camille to it and just...
I never
really
thought I would
get it.
have an iPhone, but here I am now. So, sex doll someday? Who am I to say never?
You're a handsome man. Please, God, don't do this to
I
me.
appreciate it, but I'm not
I ain't
always
going to the
gonna
wedding.
stay this
I'll
way.
go to the wedding. I'll go to the wedding, but I will be like...
Relationships are hard, as we know.
Oh, buddy, don't even get me
So,
going. All right, so there's this dude. He's 42. His name is Ryan Smith. He looks like the kind of guy who would do exactly what I'm about to say. Investigators have charged this funeral home worker for stealing a life-size sex doll from a dude's house in Nebraska who recently died. And the way that he did this is straight up out of Ocean's 11. It's Ocean's 69 with a sex doll. He went in, took a body bag, put the sex doll in said body bag, and left with it, right? They arrested him, and now he is being charged. And apparently it's like kind of a big deal because they're charging him with removal, transportation, embalming, cremation, and ship out. That's what he's supposed to be doing, right? But now they're charging him with theft because he went inside this person's house and stole their sex doll. If I am the person that died, I would like to come back from the grave and say thank you. Mm-hmm. Once your parents die, my friend, she lost her mother. They had to do a whole cleaning of the house. They found out that they were hardcore into BDSM. You find things out about your significant others that you don't know. Yeah. What's their porno collection look like? Holy hell, I didn't even know he was been to Thailand, And so if I'm this guy that died, this man did you a massive service. But taking your sex doll out so your family doesn't come in and be like, hey, who was Grandpa having sex with this whole time? He seemed so happy the past 3 years. Oh, look at her there. So he and his buddy, they went in first, right? They were like, they got a deceased guy. And then after they dropped off the dead guy, right? Because apparently you got to do that. He went back to the house with the body bag. And that's where he's been charged with unlawfully entering an apartment with a body bag, which is indicative based on circumstantial evidence that he had the intent to take the sex doll. What a sad life for this person that died. Not to demean anyone who lives in an apartment, because let's be honest, you got to these days. Basically, everyone lives in an apartment. We're bees living in a honeycomb. In this case, this man was making his honey inside of this sex doll. So you never know what your neighbors are up to. Yeah. This is why you don't knock on the door.
Yeah.
But again...
Forget bringing a pie.
So he's being charged with burglary. He's got his mugshot out there.
How did he know it was in there to begin with?
Well, he had to go in to take out the dead body.
Oh.
Which means he was probably died in the arms of the sex doll he loved.
So this is probably someone that works for the city, like a coroner's office of some sort? Or...
Yeah, he works for the coroner's office.
Oh.
Yes, that's why he had the body bag. How many body bags do you have?
I don't have any.
Because you don't work for the city. So anyway, this guy, what are you in for? Well, I stole this sex doll from this dead guy, and then I got arrested for it.
Oh. What's the charge? Just regular theft?
Yeah, it's burglary and gross. He's been charged with gross burglary. All the dead cum inside of that thing. I just don't... I'm all for reuse, reduce, occasionally recycle if it actually gets recycled, but most of the time it doesn't. But this is...
This is on a whole new level.
You need to be buried with your sex doll.
Yeah.
You know, it's not your dog. It doesn't have a life of its own. I feel like one sex doll per person. That's really all you need. And I can't imagine. I really can't imagine having a used sex doll just to pound out. Also, how lonely is this man?
Very. A lot of us are very lonely out
Not that lonely.
Have you looked at Los Angeles lately?
Oh my God, I live in it.
It's sunshine and loneliness in the city.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Don't let the fake smile fool you.
I mean, I just feel like they shouldn't charge this guy with burglary. They should force him to get a hug every now and again.
Yeah.
Poor bastard.
Well, you know.
Just walking into a dead person's house, the smell of deceased flesh everywhere, and then, ooga!
You got to find some sort of joy in your life, I guess, in your work life. I mean, you're walking into death every single day to get bodies out.
Right.
I guess you got to find a silver lining in there.
Yeah,
and that sex doll was, you like games. If you were doing that job, you walk in and you see a nice game console with some complete video games.
Yeah, but was he having sex with it, the video game system?
No, he wasn't having the sex with it.
So you can resell
his preference.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see life through this guy's
I wonder if his partner realized that he was going to go back and steal this sex doll. There must have been some hints. I mean, we need coroners. Yeah. We need people that take care of the deceased, but they are obviously going to be quite desensitized.
Yeah.
And this isn't even the top 100 things I would steal. Yeah. Another man's sex doll, and for some reason, them being dead makes it so much worse. What if he died on top of her? I don't know.
It's got even more meaning.
Yeah. All right, the final story of the day. A furious groom discovers that his new bride is a man and he was scammed into marriage, and he only found out after 3 weeks of marriage. This is why premarital sex is good. I'm not against a man having sex with a woman that happens to have a penis and balls, but I would like some disclosure.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
He's in Indonesia. He discovered his new wife was actually a man who tricked him into marrying him, which is a wild scam for money. He was 26 years old. He was identified to the local news as AK. He wed his girlfriend of more than a year in April. I'm not trying to victim blame. Technically, he's the victim here. It's also a scam, so it's very bad. But isn't there some... Because this person was not transgender. This was a man dressed as a woman in order to convince this person to marry them and then take their money and then go back like usual suspects, Kevin Spacey, and walk like a man, right? So this dude, wasn't there some kind of sign after a year of being together? Anyway, he ended up getting married, and I guess he saw her penis. But I mean, look at that. I mean, very well done, very classy, very classy gal there. But then all of a sudden, I guess.
Did they say when he finally discovered that?
Well, it was 3 weeks. He's a devout Muslim. He has no living family. So I don't know what the hell happened to this guy. Has been having a day. He's been having a day. You know, all of us have PTSD.
Yeah.
And then this guy was like, so tell me, why'd you get divorced? So the traditional face covering worn by some Muslim women was also what this scammer wore. So I guess he didn't ask what was under the curtain, what was under the sheets, until it was a little bit too late. So why they got married was for 5 grams of gold as a dowry. But married life did not go as planned. He said, something is off with my new wife. It seems like she's carrying the weight of cock and balls. So Kanza continued to wear the hijab in the house, but that's not Muslim tradition, apparently.
Yeah, you can't take it off in the house in front of your husband.
That's it.
From what I've read.
Right. So all of a sudden he says, well, what's going on here? You know, am I dealing with a burn victim? No. She also avoided any acts of intimacy, saying she was menstruating or not feeling well. So he's starting to get suspicious because he says, I'll take a
How
canoe.
long into being the house is this happening?
About 3 weeks. So he says, I'll take a canoe trip down the Red River. I don't care. Let's just get this on already. I'm 26. My family's dead. Now, that's a whole other story I don't know about. And she says no. So all of a sudden, he met Kanza's parents, despite the fact that she said they died. So she says, oh, she has parents that are still alive. She says they were dead. What other things is she lying about? The family had no idea they had a new son-in-law, and they also probably didn't know they had a daughter. So the man identified, they made the reports, and apparently this person had been dressing as a woman since 2010 and had a somewhat high-pitched voice that sounded like a woman. Now, it is, again, unclear of the sexual orientation or identity, but it seems to me like they were just doing this to scam this dude out of 5 grams of gold. What a nightmare. Dating...
What is the worth of 5 grams of gold? I can't picture that.
Let's see. What's the worth of 5 grams of gold? Let's see here. What do you think it's going to be?
10,000.
Let's see here. Oh, what's the answer? It's like $425.
No.
How much is 5 grams of gold worth right now? According to e-Checkwire, $407. The fuck is this bullshit? I thought gold was like the king. Remember when gold was like, hey, you got gold?
I guess it's still a king, because for you to go through all of this...
You can buy 5 grams at Walmart.
$400.
You can buy, oh my God. This person faked a gender. Oh my God. And again, this is not about any serious issues when it comes to my beloved transgender community. This is about a scam. Oh my God. You can buy gold at Walmart for $439, 5 gram bar. God dang, what is this? How are we? We're in like this, it sounds almost utopian. You know, you can go to Walmart and buy gold in 2024. If that was all the information I had about 2024, I'd be like, all right, it'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, of course, it is, you know, I mean, meanwhile, for $439, even at Walmart, you can get like 5 items.
Oh, so I guess that is another country. The worth of 400 versus what it is for us here.
I think gold is gold. Isn't gold universal?
It still is, yeah. It holds
right?
off.
So I'm fairly certain that no matter what,
It holds up.
it should.
Yeah.
It better. Oh my God.
So, I mean, people have been scammed for less.
What's the biggest surprise you've had in a relationship after like 3 weeks? I can't, certainly not this.
3 weeks.
And, you know, if I suppose if you really loved them, but you can't love them because they're lying about their parents, and then, of course, just the whole deception. It's really the deception.
Well, yeah, people misrepresent themselves. How are you supposed to know exactly who they are?
You can't trust them.
And the other thing is, though, if you do like them or you turn a blind eye yourself, you'll fall for absolutely anything.
That's a fact. And then what if you're dating Khloe Kardashian and you liked her when she was a little chunky because you like to have your 3-ways with her and Camille?
Uh-huh.
Next thing you know, Ozempic comes in.
Somebody's missing.
Totally cockblocks you, which is probably going to be another lawsuit. Ozempic, you made my wife's camel toe go away. That was my best friend. I used to put googly eyes on it. Talk to it at night. Like it was Cartman's hand from South Park.
It's like being used to a certain lifestyle. If you used to having your best friends and how you're portrayed and how it looks and how you guys talk to each other, and all of a sudden it's taken away from you by a medication that was supposed to be safe.
I do not think that anyone should get married and move in unless they have had sex with each other.
Yes, I agree.
You know, and not because of any, like, you know, I'm not even against monogamy. You can be very conservative, but you really got to have that moment. And you can pray to Jesus and just be like, you know, with this whole idea, if you are religious or whatever belief you have, this whole idea that it's immoral unless you're married, the state doesn't have anything to do with morality.
Yeah.
So whatever your religion is, you just got to sit down, talk to whoever you're talking to, and just be like, just so you know, we need your blessing.
Yeah.
We're about to have sex because otherwise this entire thing can fall apart. And once you're sharing rent, what a fucking nightmare it is to separate.
Yeah.
So That's all I mean, just...
Religion plays a big part. Things that we may not necessarily understand. It's not even so much a believing in God thing. It's just religion and the rules, which varies and varies.
I don't think, you know, I know a buddy. Apparently, you know, you can get married online now. Mm-hmm. That's insane. Back in the day, the laziest way to get married was just go to the courthouse, you know, pay your traffic tickets and get married. And now you can literally do it from the comfort of your own home. What's the romance? I mean, you're saving money on charger plates, but what's the romance? How does it... Isn't the whole point that it's going to be this massive transformative moment where you're like, we were just having sex and we were doing anal, and after this ceremony, no more anal. You know, but if you just do it online, I just think that's getting married online is worse than not getting married at all. I think it's more sacrilegious than not getting married at all and just living together.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, you're right. And also, you see what happens to romance. I mean, romance is disappearing all completely across the board.
It's confusing because are you supposed to open the door? You're not supposed to open the door. I don't know. All I know is I love my dog. Yeah. And he ain't talking. That's all I know. All right, Robert Pickton is dead. Khloe Kardashian has lost her vagina. And a whole series of other mishaps have occurred this fine day. All right, we'll be back 3 times a week, which means there's 2 more episodes this week. Thank you all so much for listening to the first episode of the Ben Kissel channel. And again, do not forget, go to my Patreon, go to Ben Kissel channel. It's just $7 a month. I got 8 shows happening there. I'm actually going to be working with my friend Kyle Plouffe from Death and Entertainment, and there I'll be discussing more politics, social things, and all the crazy stuff that's driving us nuts. Also, check out my Shopify page. Get some merch there and show your support. I endlessly appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And this journey has just begun. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. So sit right back. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you all so much for watching the Ben Kissel channel. If you like what you saw, please click the link and subscribe. Thank you all so much. Your host, Ben Kissel.